this is the modified version of the assignment. This assignment, it covers new scenarios that we haven't seen before, and inshallah by the time you are watching this video, the code of this project has been pushed to GitHub. Okay, so what does this project do? As orders, for example, when I refresh, it immediately loads from the JSON files into my database and saves them into the database, and I have like a list of orders, and each of this order will have their own pizzas. Okay, or they can have one or more pizza, which means there is a one-to-many relationship between my order and the pizza. Okay, so you can of course add new order here, and once I add new order and save it, it will be saved as a new order at the end, and I have this order. You can update a specific pizza under a specific order by clicking update, and you see the two let me go back so you can see. Originally I had this pepperoni and cheese only selected, so when I click on update, you see pepperoni and the cheese are pre-selected and all of the information is populated. I can add olives, greens and spinach, and when I save, now this information will be added to this pizza. Okay, of course you can also remove a specific pizza and delete it like that, or you can delete the entire order. Okay, and you can cancel the whole order like that, and now you cancel that order, and you can even cancel more of these orders. Okay, so as you can see, it's the complete CRUD operation that supports a one-to-many relationship. Okay, and every time, of course, once you delete everything from the database, if you refresh again, it will populate these things from the JSON file. You can also add pizza. For example, if I remove this pizza here, I can add more pizza to this order. Okay, only to this order, and as you can see, it shows me the order number there where it will be added, and when I save, now this pizza will be added to this order. Okay, now I can keep adding more pizza and they will all be added into this order. Okay, so it basically supports all of the scenarios you might face both in the assignment and in the project. Okay, so let me quickly explain some of the code. I will not be writing, of course, this code. We have done it multiple times, but I will just show you some of the tricky parts that you might need to be careful. Okay, so the first one is here. How do you access these files? When you want to access these files, for example, I put the editor page here, and if I want to access this editor page, what you need to do is you need to start from JS. For example, here, this is the way I'm loading this page, by doing js/views/pizza editor. You cannot just put ... or something like that, because already as soon as you load your application, index.js is at this level. So all of this script will be injected to the index.js. So that means this script is actually part of this index page. That's why when you are accessing all of these files, you should think as if you are inside index and you try to access them. So it will be js/views. Okay, so that's the first thing. The other thing is, last week, if you remember, during the tutorial, actually I forgot to add this code, which is because we are using the module. Okay, type is module. We will not be able to access all of these functions, okay, once the application loads. So we need to somehow export them to the window, and the way we do that is we can say window on load, export all of your functions, the ones that you want your application to have access for. And you see the delete, the load editor, the display, and the delete pizza are all exported to the window. Okay, so this is how you link them. So please be careful. If you don't do this, then they will not work for you. Okay, all right, so these are some of the things you need to be careful at. The other thing is, I'll just maybe quickly go through how this code is working for example, like when you click this add new order, what's happening is this button is called, okay, and this button calls the load editor. The load editor then opens this editor page, and as you will see here, so you see load editor will open this page. It will try to say fetch this page for me, change it to text, then you assign the inner HTML here, and then you will try to get the form's reference. The reason is because we want to listen the form once it's submitted. Why am I doing the document query selector here? Because the first time when index.html page is loaded, there is no form. Okay, so if you try to access this form outside here, it will be null because this form does not exist yet. Once we load the page, then the form exists, then we can do query selector and search for that form. Okay, now this form, I'm using it both for editing and for adding and updating. So I want to differentiate when am I in the edit mode or when am I in the add mode. And the way I differentiate that is when I am in the add mode, okay, which is in this case, like when the person click this add new, when they either click here or they click here, add another pizza. In both cases, I will not have an ID for my pizza. So what happens is that when this function is called, order ID and pizza ID will both be null. So I am saying here, if pizza ID, that means if I have pizza ID, in that case it must be an edit, otherwise I will not do anything and I will leave the form empty. That's why when they click add another pizza, for example, if they want to add another pizza to this order, I know as soon as they press add, I don't need to populate anything here. It should stay empty. Okay, and the way I know that is because I will not have this pizza ID. However, when they click, let's say, the update button, I am already pre-populating some data here. And how do I know that? Because when they click on the update button, which is here, again, let me show you in the pizza HTML card, I have one button called update. So when it's loading, it's already sending the order ID and the pizza ID. So these two information are present when it is in the edit mode. That means my load function can be a bit smart now and say, okay, if the pizza ID is not null, that means we must be editing an existing pizza. So let's go ahead and get that pizza. Okay, so we are in the editing mode. Let's go and get that pizza. And I have, of course, created this repository. I will also discuss with you. It has all the methods that can get you read and write to the database. So what I'm doing is that here I'm doing, for example, get the pizzas. I get this pizza that has this order ID and this pizza ID. Once I get that pizza, then I will inject them all the information into this page. Okay, so they will be injected. So the name will be injected, the size of the pizza will be injected, and the ones that were pre-selected will be injected like that. Okay, and that's it. So that is the edit and the add, how I differentiate the edit and the add using the same function. Delete is very simple. I'm just delete order means you will be given order ID and you just need to call one of the methods in your repository that can delete from the database. And delete pizza, I am calling a function called delete pizza and then displaying it again. Of course, I'm going to show you how this delete pizza looks like. All right, so we have seen now the add new button and the update, also the add another pizza. Okay, so all of these things, they are kind of using the same function with minor differences. Okay, all right, so that's it. I think that's the hardest part, where you just don't know how to differentiate maybe between the edit and the add, and this is the trick I use. Okay, if I have IDs, that's how I differentiate them. Now let me show you the save. The save is a little bit complex, so I will explain to you. When the user clicks on, let's say, update and they press the save button, so they could come from 3 different locations. One is they are coming from add new order, which means that we don't have any order ID or pizza ID, so both of them don't exist. Or they are coming from here, update, which means we have a pizza ID and order ID, both of them, and we are editing actually something that exists. Or the third scenario is they are coming from here, so we add another pizza. So we have an order already, but we want to add one more extra pizza. So that means they have order ID, but they don't have pizza ID. So these are the three scenarios that we need to handle when this save button is clicked. So how am I handling them? First of all, I would say if order ID exists, that means I'm sure that I have already an order. I already have an order ID, but I'm only missing what? The pizza ID. So I want to make sure, I want to check now if I also have a pizza ID. So if I have order ID and I have a pizza ID, I'm just doing what? I'm just doing an updating. Okay. So first of all, sorry, I will get all, I'll try to find the pizza that matches, and I will update that pizza, okay, inside that order. That is when they click on the update button. So I'll try to find the pizza that matches this pizza, and then I will update its information like that. How about here? Here means like I don't have an ID. Okay, so there is no ID for the pizza. That means this pizza is a new pizza. So I'll just go and push it to the orders. And in the beginning, see, I am already getting all my orders that belong to this order ID. And then I will push this new pizza into the order. Okay, but if let's say there was an ID, that means I don't have to push. There is no push. I need to find first that pizza and then update that pizza. Okay. Why am I doing this delete ID? Because from the start I'm just giving an ID to my to all the pizzas. Okay. All right. So now that is the first scenario where you have the order ID. However, if they clicked here, that means they are creating a new order. In that case, of course, you will not have the order itself. So you need to create the order, a new order. Basically, you need to create a new order and then push that order or add that order into your database. So it will be much easier to do that. Finally, of course, we display and reset. So that's all it does. This save method, it looks a little bit complex, but I'm just differentiating between these three buttons. This is the first button, the update button, and the add another pizza. So finally, let me talk about a little bit about the repository. The repository, it has this, and I think last time we did actually all of them, but these are just some new ones. So you can add an order, you can update order, delete an order, get order, and get orders, get pizza, and delete pizza. This time what I'm doing is I'm using models. So these models are actually being used in this application. Okay, and the way I'm using them is that, for example, if you see here, there is something that says total calories and like the total calorie and total price. How am I calculating? I'm calculating through my class. So I have a class that can calculate the total calories and then the total price. Okay, and that's how it's being calculated. So how am I converting my normal objects into this class? It's a single line again. You will just say, once you read those objects, you can make them a type of that class by saying set property type of that object, the object literal, and then you can assign them this thing called pizza order or prototype, which means they will become a pizza order class. And if you put, for example, let's say get orders, if you say pizza dot prototype, that means this pizza object will become now of this type, this class. So they will get all the powers of this pizza class. They can display the weight, they can display the calories, they can display the price, the toppings, and all of that. Okay, so how many toppings that this pizza has, and all of these things could be displayed, okay, using this class. Okay, so this is how we change a normal JSON object into a class by just doing object.set prototype. All right, so I don't want to make it longer. This is enough explanation. If you have any questions, please ask me. I will be available inshallah and I will respond. All the best. Assalamu alaikum.